Welcome back to the channel. It's me, Alejandro Mendoza, Ordinary Chicano. Either way how you say it, it's all good here. And we're back again for another video as we continue our journey on the Andrei Tarkovsky retrospective series. And today we're going to be looking at his 1979 film, Stalker, on Blu-ray from the Criterion collection. I hope the video finds you all well, happy, and healthy, and in good spirits. I have been having lots of fun making these videos for this retrospective series. It's been great. I love Andrei Tarkovsky. I think he's an incredible filmmaker. He's a person who changed my life forever. And the film that we are discussing today is the film that changed my life. It changed the way that I view art. It changes the way that I view life in general, existence, and every possible facet of this crazy thing that we call life. Of course, if you all enjoy physical media, you enjoy films, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. If you're not, please subscribe. Click that notification bell so you don't miss a single piece of content that drops on the channel. And go ahead and leave a like on the video so that way more people can see it and it gets, around to more eyes. If you want to offer an extra helping hand around here, then please go ahead and check out my Patreon at patreon.com/TheNerdChicano and check out our tiers. We have some cool stuff like video essays and early access to videos like the one you're watching right now. And of course, all of that is in the description, but of course it is not mandatory, but it is greatly appreciated if you want to go and help over there. Either way, I enjoy you all being here watching these videos, and it is appreciated nonetheless. Now let's go ahead and talk about this film from legendary filmmaker Andrei Tarkovsky as we discuss his final film made in the Soviet Union, Stalker. As usual, my friends, we're going to go ahead and read the back from here, and then we'll look at the packaging, and from there we'll go ahead and get to talking about this movie. So, Stalker, Andrei Tarkovsky's final Soviet feature, is a metaphysical journey through an enigmatic post-apocalyptic landscape, and a rarefield cinematic experience like no other. A hired guide, the Stalker leads a writer and a professor into the heart of the zone, the restricted site of a long ago disaster where the three men eventually zero in on the room, a place rumored to fulfill one's most deeply held desires. Adapting a science fiction novel by Arkady and Boris Stargatsky, Tarkovsky created an immersive world with a wealth of material detail and a sense of organic atmosphere. A religious allegory, a reflection of contemporaneous political anxieties, a meditation on film itself, Stalker envelops the viewer by opening up a multitude of possible meanings. And of course, in this Blu-ray special edition is included a new 2K digital restoration with uncompressed monaural soundtrack, new interview with Jeff Dyer, author of Zona, a book about a film about a journey to a room, interviews from 2000 with set designer Rashid Safulin and composer Edward Artemyev, interview from the mid-1990s with cinematographer Alexander Kozyantsky, plus an essay by critic Marc Le Fanu. And this film comes in at spine number 888, and this is the front of the packaging. This is the back. This is the spine. So you tell this is an MRA case, and you're just going to go ahead and open it up here. And you have this nice little pamphlet. This is the front. This is the back. And you have the essay, the cast, the details, the acknowledgments, the transfer notes. And you have some more, cool art right there included. And yeah, you have this essay that is also available to read on Criterion.com, so if you want to go ahead and read it, that's where I read it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the pamphlet. And then you have, of course, your Blu-ray disc right here, and then the background of the case is that. So pretty simple packaging there. I really like the art and detailing that they put into the cover. And now let's go ahead and talk about this film. At this point, if you know me, it's no surprise that I sing the praises of this film from Andrei Tarkovsky. It's a film that I watched back when we did our Andrei Tarkovsky month during December 2020, and I can tell you that I didn't understand a damn thing that was going on in that film. But something eluded me. I was still gravitating towards the message of the film, even though I didn't understand it. I was in love with the cinematography, especially the choice between a sepia tone in the film stock and then our color tones in the other part of the film. And something just called my attention to, rewatch this, and I did. And I realized I was just amazed by what Tarkovsky had crafted inside the film. And then I watched it again for a class with my professor, and then I watched it again to do my episode on the cinema condition with Brad, and I watched it one more time after that. And now today I'm finally able to talk to you all about this film on this channel, because I finally was able to pop this into the player after having it for a while now and be able to look at this on my 4K TV. And man, I've got to say, Stalker never disappoints. Stalker is a film that is very difficult to get through. It is slow as it can get, and it's roughly almost 3 hours long. But Stalker is a film that you have to approach with the lens of the Soviet Union and the lens of the people who lived in the Soviet Union at the time. And because of that, you get this incredible film from Andrei Tarkovsky that is a big allegory about religion. If you know Andrei Tarkovsky and you know the man, you know that he is a big man of faith. I mean, he is as Christian as it can get, and faith is really important to him, and what it brings to his life is unmatched. Maybe art and literature and all those things are close, but to Andrei Tarkovsky, faith and his faith in God is just as important as anything else. Stalker reinforces that, and it brings it with every image that you see in this film, from the stunning cinematography, as we see crosses in telephone poles, as we see a crown of thorns being placed on the head of the professor, and along with various other images, they come to the forefront of this film. I love this movie. It changed my life forever when I watched it for the first time. It made me look at art differently. It made me consume films differently. I was very impatient at the time, and I didn't want to sit through something so long because I didn't think that it was that important to sit through something so long. But Stalker is as satisfying as it can get to sit through something that feels like it's paced as a snail, and it's intentional. Andrei needs to pull in your attention to get you to think about these things. If we are constantly moving the brain at a fast pace, we will never have time to digest the words that are being displayed and digest the actions and the scenes and the cinematography. Andrei does that with his incredible paced film, and I'll never stop singing the praises for this film. I think this movie is incredible. It's perfect to me. It's a movie that never gets old, and it always has something new to understand. Andrei Tarkovsky created his last movie in the Soviet Union and had to sadly develop cancer while filming this, because he decided to go all out for this movie that would, outright criticize his country, and he would take a voluntary leave of absence from his country because of that. And it's a temporary, well, not temporary, but it was a voluntary exile that, led him to make his last two films abroad and then sadly die after 1986's The Sacrifice. But Stalker is incredible. Stalker is a film that never gets old to me, and I hate to sound redundant, but I have no other words to say but the fact that this movie changed my life forever, and rewatching it, I fell in love with it all over again, even if that is even remotely possible. And of course, how could I end this talk about this film without discussing the incredible score from Edward Artemiev? That score is honestly probably my favorite film score of all time. It's up there with Hans Zimmer's Interstellar, Hans Zimmer's Dune score, and various others like Cinema Paradiso from Ennio Morricone. And I'm fascinated by this score and what it was able to create with the atmosphere. pretty much is what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of characteristics in this film that created a stunning atmosphere that is all part of this magnificent film that never loses your attention and always pulls you in as you're digesting a man discussing his faith in humans, in hope, and art, music, and everything that gives us meaning to live life for. Now let's go ahead and talk about this restoration. I watched this Blu-ray on my Panasonic 4K player on my TCL 4K TV, and I have to say, I was blown away with this 2K digital restoration. I have seen Stalker in various formats. I have seen it in the original YouTube version that I watched it in, where it looked terrible. I mean, it was very, very dirty. It looked like it needed a massive cleanup. I've seen it on an Xbox. I've seen it on the Criterion channel. I've seen it on a PS4, on a HD TV. I've seen it on a plasma screen TV. And now I was finally able to pop this into my player and watch it the way I feel like it deserves to be watched, upscaled to 4K, which, you know, of course it's not entirely 4K, but it's upscaled to just above 2K. It's hitting exactly the way that it's presented in here. And I've got to say, man, it's never looked this good. I love the way that the colors register in this film, especially when we're in the zone and we're seeing that beautiful green tone really pop on the screen. The way that water registers and the way that, you know, you're seeing the scenery is really highlighted by these type of strong tones in the red, greens, and blues. Of course, the beginning of the film is in sepia, and the sepia registers so well on my screen that I could really tell the detailing in the grain and the detailing in the resolution. There's some scenes that really stand out to me, like when the professor is standing with his wife outside of his car as he's waiting for Stalker to take him to that bar, and you just see the detailing in the bokeh from the lens that Andrei Tarkovsky is using. Of course, they keep just the right amount of grain to make it look like the film that was released in 1979. And man, I'm just amazed that they were able to pull out such a great restoration out of this film. And 2K digital restoration, of course, you know, it was restored at 4K but downscaled to 2K to be put on this disc, and it just looks so good. I have no complaints. I think this is truly a perfect restoration, and I can say that for the audio as well. Everything is balanced, especially the levels between the dialogue and the, you know, diegetic sounds like the rain dropping, you know, the trains and the noises of doors and windows and light bulbs. All of those sounds are so well balanced with the dialogue, and of course the score is never overpowering. It's not louder than these other two characteristics. It all works together well enough to create a good audio restoration with a mononeural soundtrack that is taken from that 35mm magnetic track from the original 35mm camera negatives. So I love Stalker's video transfer and audio transfer. It looks fantastic. I love this movie, and as this is being uploaded, it is still the Criterion 50% off sale at Barnes & Noble. So if you have not picked this up, what are you doing? Pick this up, especially if you are a fan of Andrei Tarkovsky. Finally bite the bullet, pick this up, because you have a good amount of special features here, and then you have a really good essay on here in the pamphlet. I really like that essay. I actually read it on Criterion.com, and I thought it was well spoken, well written, and it has some really good insight into the way that, you know, that Tarkovsky might have been feeling at the time that he was crafting this film. Once again, like I said, this film changed my life forever, and I'm glad that I'm finally able to speak about it here, and I hope that you all enjoyed that too. Of course, if you would like to keep up to date with me on all things social media, make sure you follow me at The Nerdy Chicano on Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, TikTok, Serialized, and on Twitch. I'm on the same handle on all of those platforms. Check me out on thenerdcore.com, because we're doing some really cool stuff with our podcast on YouTube and Twitch under the Nerdcore. We're doing a lot of great stuff, so please go check that out. In the next two videos, we're going to be looking at the 2 films he made overseas in Italy and in Sweden. But in the meantime, to my wonderful cinephiles and renowned scholars, celebrate the love of cinema today, tomorrow, and every day after. Catch you all in the next one, guys. Bye-bye.